What's up, guys? It's Tom with Stocked Up, and welcome back to another episode of the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. As you can see, Mike is not here today. I will be covering today and tomorrow's video. He had to go ahead and take care of something, but man, we had a crazy day in the market. Robinhood popped over 80% at highs, hitting highs of $85 today as they had a crazy trading day. We also have a few earnings to talk about, and overall the market had another one of those volatile up and down type of days today, but Robinhood really stole the news. Guys, if you want to check out our live streams every single morning, go check out Stocked Up Live, our second YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. Go check out the live streams. You know, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of subscribers, but go give us some love on our second channel. We'll really appreciate it. And guys, let's get right into today's episode. And obviously the first thing we're going to talk about is Robinhood. They had some crazy moves early on this morning. They even halted a couple times on the way to the upside. And this move that they had was very drastic. You know, the Robinhood IPO was one of the best I've honestly ever seen. If I look at the 90-day, 15-minute, besides for the first couple of days, they've only went straight up since they IPO'd. And man, this was a big move, up over 100% this week from these lows. If you count the high of today, even if you count the low, we're just at up over 100%. So that's a really big move. Robinhood's been an amazing stock, and you know, a lot of people have been looking at Robinhood to the downside, and it seems like the market always does this, doesn't it? It seems like it goes against the majority. You know, a lot of people were thinking that Robinhood might end up going down just because of everything that's happened with them. So overall, though, great news for Robinhood. I'm sure that Vlad is going to be very happy. Maybe he can go get another haircut because he definitely needs one. But Robinhood's IPO is definitely going pretty well for them. And then we had the overall market, like I said, just kind of have another one of those flat type of days again today, as we saw the SPY just stay flat. You know, we hit 441 yesterday, hit that upper resistance level, failed to break out today, and just pulled back, hovering right around the $439 mark. You know, it's a pretty interesting level for the SPY at 439. I think that we will fall below that tomorrow and possibly go off to the downside, but we'll just have to see what happens. You know, we had a lot of stocks do very well today. We had AMD have another killer day, up 5% again, as they just continue to just go through every type of level. They broke through 120, moving all the way up through 122. They even broke that high of yesterday early on at 115. They got the initial momentum started. Overall, it looks really good, but I'll be honest, this setup does not look near as good as the setup looked yesterday at close, or as it looked a couple days ago. I would say this looks almost more of like a bearish intraday setup here, and I would not be surprised if we pulled back and maybe retested like 115 tomorrow morning or something. And I know a lot of people have really been eyeing up puts on AMD lately. You know, it's getting really overextended. I know Mike's really been eyeing up puts on there. You know, I thought maybe we could continue the momentum for a couple of days. I did not think we would ever break 115 and then even break 120. So it honestly is blowing my mind. Hopefully we can get some more downwards movement here, maybe later on in the week, or, you know, obviously I think that possibly like by Friday we might see some pretty good red candles out of AMD. I think that tomorrow, which is Thursday, we're going to see some pretty good movement. And in the overall market, I saw that there was a couple of semiconductor stocks report earnings. I saw WDC, which is Western Digital, reported great earnings, flew up, and now they're ending up down. So hopefully they don't go down and kind of drag AMD kind of down with them. And then getting into these earnings for the rest of the week, you know, we have an interesting rest of the week. We have Roku after close today, Uber, Etsy, Fastly, Bionano Genomics. They've been big. Western Digital, like we already covered, Win. Let's go check out WYNN if they reported yet. And man, it looks like they're actually moving to the upside. This might be a pretty good turnaround for some of these hotel stocks if they can start to get some good earnings going off. You know, Win, LVS, and a couple of those types of stocks have really been turning off to the downside, like very, very drastically. It's definitely not a good sign. LVS is getting so low that I would think it could be good for the longer term for shares pretty soon. But man, it's just so hard to catch the bottom on these stocks. Let's go check out MGM. They're one of my favorites. They're not down too much. As you can see, they're a little bit better, but man, these stocks like WYNN, hopefully they can get some good earnings going, kind of like what we're seeing today in after hours. This movement is very, very nice. Looks like their EPS was a negative 1.12 versus a negative 1.4 estimate. So they beat that. Even though their EPS was negative, they're still doing pretty well. And I think that they'll get a little bit better, especially if COVID can kind of get better. But at the same time, we're having more Delta variant news come out. I'm hearing stuff about like vaccine mandates and stuff. And if those get implemented, that could obviously drive a lot of business away from some of these hotels and casinos and stuff, as they'll probably be forced to make occupants, get the vaccine and different stuff. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about these mandates, so it's getting pretty weird. We're at that kind of crossroads. Like I talked about, the SPY is getting really volatile, and I think people are kind of bracing for maybe a lot more restrictions, or like maybe another downturn this winter. I think that the market's definitely in a crossroads. We're getting like right to this, there's just so much tension almost. It seems like a lot of tension is just in the air. You can almost feel it right now with the market, especially with all these shutdowns and all the mask mandates and everything. I'm sure that that's really going to affect the market in the shorter term, especially as we're like at all-time highs. If we go look at the max daily chart on the SPY, we're just within a couple dollars of the all-time high. QQQ was at all-time highs last week. Now it kind of pulled back a little bit, but it looks like it's trying to get back up there, retest. So maybe we'll be able to see some of these stocks go back up today. That is interesting to see that the tech sector did a little bit, did a lot better today than the SPY itself. I know the Dow did not do very well on itself. The /YM actually fell 300 points, which is not a good sign at all. Looks like the Dow hit that 35,000 resistance and is starting to really sell off. And it's just one of these really bad times in the market. So just be very careful going forward. And with these earnings coming up, I think that it will affect the market, but won't affect it too much. Now for tomorrow, we have Moderna in the morning. They're really key right now. Moderna's been running a lot. I'll show them on the chart in a second. Penn Gaming's really big. They're all the way down by support. Square tomorrow and after hours along with Cloudflare. I think both of those are good. But going ahead and looking at some of these, like Square, for example, which is going to report, they've actually been flying up. They actually have that conference call. It's not that they're reporting. They already reported. But on the chart here, you can see they have it as Thursday after close, I guess, for that call. It'll kind of give a good outlook on what's going on. But Penn Gaming and Moderna are very interesting. mRNA is at all-time highs, passed above $400 today, and I could not believe it. We've been looking for this stock to go down, kind of like AMD, kind of like some of these other stocks, but they just keep flying, keep going up to the upside. These vaccine stocks are doing so well right now. All these mandates and everything must really be helping them out. So Moderna just keeps flying up and up to the upside. Very good news. Breaking out up above $400 per share. These earnings better be very, very good, or else we might see a little bit of a pullback, and that might be the case. But other than that, there's not really too much other news for the market today. It was a pretty dry day. There is some infrastructure bill news starting to come out in the headlines, so we'll be looking for that over the next week or two. And Schumer did come out today and say that they were looking to get that passed, but as you can see, it didn't really help the S&P 500 too much, or at least the SPY, which is more of like the overall market. So in the end, it didn't really help out too much, but that's pretty much it for the news today. All right, I'm going to be getting into our momentum plays and the unusual options activity, but first I wanted to go over our member of the day, which is Slaggy13. Thank you so much for helping so much in the Discord. We really appreciate it. Everybody who is very helpful in the Discord, we always like to give them a shout out. So thank you so much, Slaggy. I don't know when the last time you were shouted out was, but thank you so much for being a part of the group and just helping people out in general. But thank you so much. Getting right into these momentum plays here. Our first momentum play today is going to be Zoom, which had a great day to the upside, breaking that high that we talked about at around 395, 396 yesterday. Had an awesome move today, all the way up to 400, up to 403, and I would make it break out tomorrow up above $403. I think that'll be the way to play Zoom. Only play it if it breaks 403, but the next play is going to be AMD, of course, and they've done very well today. They could always fall off tomorrow like I talked about earlier, but if they do go up and they break out above 122.50, I think that we'll see a really good move. They popped 5% today. Quite a bit of that was after the 115 break of yesterday, so that could have been a really good day trade opportunity for anybody who was able to catch this one at open. But overall, AMD is having some pretty good moves. The next one is going to be BABA, and BABA had a great move today, up 1.69%. Not the biggest move percentage-wise, but pretty good for BABA, and they have a solid resistance up there right at 203.40. If they can break out above 203.40, I think BABA will be an awesome play tomorrow to the upside. And keep in mind, guys, these are only quick momentum plays, meant to only be played to the upside once the levels that I gave were broken. Keep in mind, the 3 plays are BABA, AMD, and Zoom, all to the upside today. Zoom's looking really hot. Actually, I think that's going to be my favorite play out of all of them. AMD's been really good for the past few days, but like I said earlier, it might not continue. But our unusual options activity today is actually on AMD. It's the AMD 121 calls expiring August 6th. I actually saw $7.2 million thrown into this play. And man, AMD, like I talked about, really high right now. This it's the 121 calls that expire this week. So, we would honestly think that they're shorting them, but at this point, I have no idea. AMD does look a little bearish right now, so I would think that these would have to be covered calls or something. But, all week, we've been thinking that these unusual options were shorts on AMD calls, but every single day AMD flies up. And man, if we don't end up below 110 and someone shorted those 110 calls earlier in the week, they're going to be losing like 20 million, maybe $10 million. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but man, I remember there was some 110 calls, then some 115 calls. Now there was 120 calls, 121 calls. So there's a lot of unusual options activity going on with AMD. And I just want to say something is that AMD was in a channel for a couple of years. It took just about a year. They traded between $74 and like $95 for pretty much a whole year straight, and we're just now breaking out. So expect a little bit of movement to the upside. We might stop now that we're finally getting up to like 120, but man, honestly, like once we broke 100, it was just game on for AMD, and I'm really glad to see that type of move. We consolidated for so long that I'm just really happy to see a good breakout like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into these questions from the previous episode. And, with the first one, we have Outlaw saying, AMD is on fire. Proud to be a shareholder. Outlaw, it is on fire. I'm really glad you're holding it. I'm glad it's going up for you. I personally had AMD all the way back whenever it was $9 a share. It would make a lot of people sick to know how much profit I would have on this one if I would have held, but hey, I guess everybody can say that after a few years of trading, right? But man, really good hold. Glad to see AMD going up for you. Really happy for that one. And then I have the OG saying, love and hate is an emotional sentiment. Hood gotta keep it business. Tom, I did the same with AMD and also gonna hold on for the ride. Love your stuff. I watch as a night routine. Keep it up. Thanks. And thanks so much, OG. Really glad to hear you watch us every night. That's really awesome. Glad to hear you got that routine going. Yeah, and glad to see you got into AMD, but too bad it flew up today to 122 for us. Not a good sign for those puts that we're holding. We have Claudia saying, I regret not investing in Hood, even just for a short time. And Claudia, I'm with you. I wish I would have grabbed it at IPO and just held it for a few days, just because it's just it was a really popular IPO. You can just kind of just grab some shares on it, maybe hold it for the longer term if you have a big enough portfolio. And overall, the movement was really nice, up to $85 today. You would be really loving it, Claudia, today. So that's awesome. We got Vicky saying, what's up, Mike and Tom? Definitely a wild ride in the morning, but it had a choppy ending with the market up at closing. Yes, it did. We've been really up and down lately, really choppy in the market. So overall, the market has just been so up and down. The SPY again today was flat, kind of like I talked about earlier. Ended up being actually red from yesterday, even though it didn't go down too much. But there's a decent support right here at 439, and it looks like the SPY is really starting to turn off to the downside, and we might see it go ahead and break that. So just keep a lookout. We might really see what ends up going on with this. We have J Lemon saying, no one should use or own Robinhood. Poor order fills, zero customer service, suckers. Yeah, I had some harsh words there, Jay, but I'm with you. They do. They have poor fills, poor execution, no customer service. You're right. It's just how Robinhood is, but a lot of people love it for some reason, and maybe it's just the simplicity. I have no idea. Maybe someone else needs to make a a really simple trading platform, kind of compete with them. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, if you guys have any simple trading platforms that you guys like to use. But we have, let's see, the next question, we have Dope saying, I bought in at the absolute bottom of $33 a share. I'm pretty happy, up over 40%. Awesome, glad to hear that. I have 5 saying, at what price should I look to buy AMD? It's hard to say that because AMD is going up so much right now. Personally, for the longer term, I don't think I'd grab shares right now. It's up a little bit too much for me. I always like to buy at the bottom no matter what. I almost never buy whenever stocks are flying up like this. But in the end, I think that AMD will do good in the long term. It's just that personally, I don't think I'd be buying it right now. But a few days ago, as it broke $100, it could have been a pretty viable option. So I think that's a really good way to look at it. We have C. Woong saying, hey guys, can you cover home improvement stocks when you get a chance? Lowe's and Home Depot. Sure thing, LOW looks actually pretty bad in the short term, I will say. They've been going up for the past year, looking pretty solid, but now they're actually starting to fall off on the daily. Not looking good. That red candle down 2% today was not a good candle at all. I hate to see that. Hopefully we can see it maybe hold like somewhere like right around where it closed today, around 189.90 or 190, and maybe get a nice pop back to the upside. Home Depot almost has the same story. They started to sell off today, but this stock's been doing a little bit better in the shorter term. Honestly, I think that they're both a little bit overextended still. Now, I think that they're going to be good because the housing market has done so good for the past couple months, and I think that it will still do good in the longer term as far as Home Depot and Lowe's are concerned. But in the shorter term, to me personally, I can see it honestly moving off to the downside. But guys, if you guys want your questions asked, or if you want your questions answered, just leave them in the comments down below. We'll answer all the questions. We'll at least reply to them on YouTube. If we don't answer them in the videos, we try to get back to everybody. So if you have a question about a stock or anything, just let us know, leave it down there, and you might be featured in the next video. But guys, I really appreciate you watching. If you need any questions, any help trading, you want to get stock picks / options from Mike and I, just click the link down below, join statistical modeling. You'll get access to all of our order flow, bots, everything that we call out, all of our options picks. Some of the bots have been on fire lately, like the hybrid bot. Not every play is going to be a winner, but generally, most of the plays that the bot has called out has done very, very well. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Have a good one.